Tēnā koutou katoa. Ko te mihi tuatahi ki te kāinga o kaihanga o ngā mea katoa I tēnei ao, tēnā koe. Ki ngā tine mate, haere ki te wā kāinga. Haere ki te kāinga tūturu o tō tātou matua. Haere atu rā. Nā mihi nui kia koutou ngā iwi o te Atiawa, o Taranaki whānau, ki te upoko o te ika a Maui. Kei te mihi. Tēnā koutou ngā iwi o ngā hau e whā, I ngā rau rangatira mā, tēnā koutou, ko Waiau, ko Tararua me Taranaki o ku maunga, ko Punahau me Waitara o ku awa, ko Kurahaupo me Tukamaru o ku waka, ko Pārere me Manikorehe o ku hapu, ko Kautaro me Owai o ku marae, ko Mua upoko me Te Atiawa o ku iwi, ko Ripeka Matipou tuku ingoa. Oh, it's up. Now my topic title, The Highs and Lows of Soul Parenting Experienced by Wāhine Māori. Purpose of this kaupapa. Of course it arose out of my own personal experience in parenting my own children. I wanted to know how others coped. My children are now in their, my daughter's 45, my sons are in their 30s, mid-30s. I wanted to know how others coped. I struggled as I had trust issues after a marriage breakup. In my own whānau, in my wider whānau, I would leave my kids with maybe two that I trusted. In my 20 years, I was not aware of soul parenting as the makeup of our whānau ensured every child in the whānau were loved and cared for, whether carers were biological parents or not. So that's what I come from. So to go through soul parenting, you know, I found it quite lonely, and that's because of the trust issues I had. This kaupapa explored and examined experiences of soul parenting by Wāhine Māori over the age of 30 years, who had parented soul for 5 years or more. Prior to becoming a soul parent, there were journeys prior that participants endured during critical periods of their lives. Three, I want to briefly share what they stated in their interviews. And there's reasons why I start there. I mean, for me, it had an impact on me, especially after interviewing and then going through the data. I had to go to, what do you call it? Of course. If you leave me, you won't be leaving carrying our child. He threatened to kill her baby if she tried to leave. He used to get really angry with the baby when she was crying, and he'd pick her up and throw her against the wall or across the room. He had a shotgun that he had taught the participant to use, a big 303. She fantasised about killing him to keep baby safe. The other one is we were good runners at school. They coped to be survivors, and at that time her and her siblings were under 10. They said we were good runners at school. We did our training at 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night, sometimes 1 o'clock in the morning. That's when the violence started. They knew, they had a plan in place every night of their teeny years it was like they slept with their ears open and on alert. Windows were open and they were ready to run, and there were no qualms about it. They all just jumped out the window and headed for their aunties or their safe house on the other side of the pub. They couldn't, and one of the things that stood out for this wāhine was she said we couldn't do anything to save our mother. The third one, it only takes a phone call to get rid of you. This wāhine, when she talked about it, she said that night she was raped. She carries a scar on her arm where he stabbed her, and at that time she was holding her son. She says, this was Aotearoa. When that happened, the police did nothing. I carried that scar of a reminder of where I came from instead of looking at it and think of it as ugly. Next one. Oh, before I cry. The methodological framework was a qualitative approach that focused on the experience and perceptions of people. The methodology is described as both kaupapa Māori and Māori-centred throughout the discussion. So there was kaupapa Māori theory, critical theory, Māori-centred theory, mana wāhine theory, takipu and ata. Those ones, you know, were my haere right through the... I could mention and then link it to how I worked with them, but I'm sure you'll get some idea of how that was done. I'm just going to head straight to the findings evolved out of key themes, and I'll mention those those 6 key themes. I mean, they started off so differently, and I was really surprised with the violence and relationship that came up. That really surprised me. So the first one was journey into sole parenthood. The second was whānau support encompassed by te ao Māori. The third one was tangled with the system, children and wāhine frustrations, violence and relationships. And the last one was about the wāhine and their new light, and the new light was the new beginning for them all. The limitations has had implications for both the conclusions it reaches and the direction of future research. The sample size in this research was small, and whilst this enabled the gathering of much literature around the topic area, not all of it was used because of the word limit. I needed more word limit, but you know. Now, my recommendations, there were 4. Lessons for Wāhine Māori: be strong and receive and take help from others when it is needed or offered. Second one, lessons for friends and wāhine: keep in constant contact with your whānau. Know what is going on at all times. Third one, lessons for social workers: don't assume that all single parents who are Māori are going to end up poorly. Don't assume that all Māori stay in negative relationships. One of the learnings you should know is the best one to tell you about me is me. Lessons for educators: acknowledge the importance of rangahau in this area so that people can understand the diverse experiences that can be gained from it. One of the outcomes of this rangahau was that Wāhine Māori focused an importance on education, and that really stood out for themselves and their tamariki. Wāhine Mā became role models for their tamariki. Another surprising one that came out was supportive role model fathers and grandfathers, or good men. I can do that too. I just want to take you back to the beginning and remind the audience of the briefs at the beginning. If you leave me, you won't be leaving carrying our child. We were good runners at school. We did our training at 10, 11, 12 o'clock, sometimes 1 o'clock in the morning. That's when the violence started. It only takes a phone call to get rid of you. Right at the end, participants had a final comment. Each of them made just a quick comment. And first one, you have to have absolute faith in yourself. Tell it like it is. It's not just about single mums, it's about absent fathers. You just get on with it. The love, the reciprocal love, and be true to yourself and treat people as you want to be treated yourself. Now, I just want to end this with a waita. No, I'm not singing. I decided to do it in another way. I'm still within the 2 minutes. Ka pai. Bit of work. Mina ka haere, koe, I te pāroro. Me tū pakari. Me whakapiki aki I te mataku. A muri rā, ko te rangi pingao. Ko te korokoro tue. Hiko tia I te hau. Hiko tia I te ua. Moi moi ia, moi moi a ta huri huri. Hiko tia, hiko tia. Hiko tia, haumi e, hui e, taiki e. No reira, ko mutu a hau, tēnā koutou. Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa.